You're in a room full of people. You're laughing at the right moments. You're saying the right things. And somewhere underneath all of it, a quiet voice is asking, why do I feel so alone right now? You look around and everyone seems fine, connected, at ease. And you wonder what's wrong with you that you can be surrounded by people and still feel like you're watching the whole night through a pane of glass. Here's the first thing you should know. Nothing is wrong with you. That loneliness you feel in a crowd isn't a flaw in your personality. It isn't proof that you're broken, or cold, or bad at people. It's your nervous system noticing something real. It's noticing the difference between being near someone and being with them. Because there are two kinds of distance. There's the kind you can measure in steps, and there's the kind you feel in your chest. You can close the first one by walking across a room. The second one doesn't care how close the bodies are. Think about it for a second. You can sit shoulder to shoulder with a stranger on a train and feel absolutely nothing. And you can think of one person who lives 1,000 miles away and feel completely held. Closeness was never about distance. It was always about attention. What you're actually hungry for in that crowded room isn't more people. It's to be seen by one. To have a single other person turn toward you, really turn toward you, and let you stop performing for a moment. And that's the hidden cost most people miss. In a crowd, you are quietly working the entire time. You're tracking how you're coming across. You're reading the room, choosing your words, keeping the version of you that's easy to like up and running. That work is invisible, but it is exhausting, and it slowly builds a wall between you and every person you're talking to. Psychologists have a name for part of this. They call it self-monitoring. The more strangers there are, the harder that inner manager works, and the more of your attention gets spent on managing the performance instead of actually being in the moment with anyone. You leave with a sore face from smiling and a heart that never got touched. So you end up in a strange place, close enough to touch, too guarded to be reached. There's another thing crowds do to you. They hand you 100 people to compare yourself to. You glance around, and everyone else looks relaxed, included, like they belong without trying. And your brain quietly decides the problem must be you. But you're comparing your insides to their outsides. You have no idea how many people in that room are running the exact same performance you are, feeling the exact same glass between them and everyone else. Now here's what most people get wrong about this feeling. They try to fix it by adding more plans, more parties, more noise, more faces, as if loneliness were a math problem you could solve with quantity. But emotional loneliness doesn't work that way. You don't feel less alone by being around more people. You feel less alone by being known by one. A crowded calendar and an unmet heart can sit in the same week and never once touch. That's why you can leave a party that went well and feel emptier than when you walked in. You gave a great performance, and nobody in the room ever met the person underneath it. For a lot of us, this started early. Somewhere along the way, you learned that the easy version of you got a warmer welcome than the real one. So you led with the easy version. You got good at it. So good that now, in a full room, it runs on its own. And the real you stays back in the shadows where it feels safe. The performance was never fake. It was protection. It just stopped letting anyone in. So what do you actually do with this? You stop treating the feeling like an enemy. That ache isn't here to punish you. It's a signal. It's pointing at something true. It's telling you that surface contact isn't enough for you anymore, and maybe it never really was. That's not a weakness. That's depth. It means you are built for the real thing, and you have simply been settling for the shallow version of it, because the shallow version felt safer. And the way out is smaller than you think. It isn't a bigger crowd. It's a smaller, truer moment. One honest sentence instead of 10 polite ones. One person you let see a little more of you than is comfortable. One conversation where you stop curating yourself and just tell the truth about your day. You don't have to do it with everyone. You couldn't if you tried. You just have to do it with one and let it be a little real and see what happens in that narrow space between two people who decide, even for a minute, to drop the act. Because connection doesn't scale with the size of the room. It never did. It happens in the small, unguarded gap between two people who choose to be honest at the same time. So the next time you feel that quiet loneliness in a crowded place, try not to panic, and try not to turn it into another reason to blame yourself. Just notice what it's telling you. You're not asking for more people. You're asking for one real one. And that is not too much to want. That is just being human, finally admitting out loud what it has needed all along. You were never bad at being around people. You were just tired of being around them without ever being met. You wanted contact that reached you, not contact that bounced off the surface you keep so carefully polished. And the moment you really understand that, something quietly shifts. You can stop scanning the whole room for approval. You can stop performing for people who are never going to see you anyway. And you can start looking, slowly, for the one face that's willing to look back.